Have you ever stopped to think about how processors handle exceptions, those critical events that interrupt the normal flow of execution? I discovered that under the hood, there's a fascinating mechanism called exception routing tables. Let me break it down. Each processor core has its own exception routing table, which serves as a table of contents for possible exception handlers. Think of it like a sophisticated navigation system for error processing. But here's the thing, exception routing tables aren't just limited to identifying the type of exception, they also contain the corresponding exception handler's address. This is where things get really interesting. Exception handlers, also known as interrupt service routines, are like tiny little wrappers that contain the code to handle specific types of exceptions. The routing table determines where the processor should jump to in the event of an exception. But what if there are multiple exception handlers for different types of exceptions? That's where the routing table comes in handy. It allows the processor to quickly determine which handler is responsible for a given exception type. But there's a catch, the exception routing table has limited entries, which means that only a certain number of handlers can be stored. This is where the concept of exception routing table entries comes into play. Each entry in the routing table corresponds to a specific exception handler, along with its address and any relevant data. The entries can be either fixed or variable, depending on the specific processor architecture. Now, let's talk about how exception routing tables are populated with exception handlers. In most modern systems, this is done through software-based initialization during bootup. But did you know that exception routing tables can also be dynamically updated? This is a relatively advanced concept, but it has some very interesting implications for high-level software design. So there you have it, a deep dive into the often overlooked realm of exception routing tables. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more tech insights.